Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
Love, exciting and new. Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever. It's a love.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships of Bermudan and British Registry.
Welcome to the Reslayer's Take. I'm George Primavera.
And I'm Nick Williams. In this podcast, George and I lead a group of players through an exciting improvised adventure in Exandria, the magical world of Critical Role.
We're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but you won't need to know the rules to follow along. All you need to know is that nothing the players do is scripted or planned, and their fates are determined by their own cleverness and the random chance of rolling a 20-sided die.
You can listen to new episodes of The Reslayer's Take every Monday, anywhere you stream podcasts.
Or if you want to listen to the podcast 2 weeks early and uninterrupted by ads, join Beacon at beacon.tv.
Last but certainly not least, if you're enjoying the story, please consider leaving a rating and review. Your feedback might inspire someone new to join this adventure.
Now, without further ado,
welcome to The Reslayer's Take.
As Hera and Poogs return to the hilltop, soon joined by Farah, coming back from her encounter with Dr. Fitzwaggle, everyone sees Frog standing next to Timpani, who is still sort of in moose form, but standing fully upright like a person with his furbolg arms and legs.
Wow, Timpani, I think we're really pushing the limits of scientific and magical exploration. Exactly!
Oh my god, what is that? Why are your arms like that? I thought just your head was messed up.
It's different this time.
It's different every time.
I think he was focusing too much on his head that he forgot everything else.
Timpani, nature is already very angry with us. And now you're just further perverting nature. What if the Eidolon sees?
Timpani drops the wild shape. Sorry.
The sky continues to grow darker as the day begins to end. As this darkness settles, becoming quite pervasive as the cloud layer accelerates the darkening of the landscape. There is silence that lasts for 5 or 10 minutes, but a strange feeling that overcomes everyone. Hairs stand up on arms and necks. Metal grows cold, and a chill more customary of the Thrain tundra begins to be carried on the breeze.
Oh, it just got really cold. Whoa.
Farah, noticing the rune that Poogs and Hera brought over, tries to discern whether or not this chill is a good thing.
Roll an Arcana check with advantage.
17.
There is certainly something ethereal about the cold. It comes on too fast for it to be entirely natural. But it strikes you how much more appropriate this temperature is for the landscape you find yourself in. Like something is forcing a return to something that resembles normal.
Did you find any more runes?
We found one. Maybe we should all just go take a group look.
We don't know how many there are, and this one makes a reference to it being this entity's home. So I think we should be respectful when handling them.
Will do.
Frog pulls out her enchanted screwdriver and clicks it.
Light emanates from it.
Let's go looking.
Everybody moves through the snow, back towards where Hera and Poogs found the first 2 runestones. Everyone make a perception check.
24.
5.
21.
21.
Poogs rolls a dirty 20. After about 5 minutes of searching, the Reslayers take uncover another 6 runic stones. Looking for another 5 minutes, finding none, they determine that these are the last of the runic stones. All in all, it takes 30 minutes to find each stone and bring it back to the developmental site.
When they return with the 6 stones, Farah stands completely still, trying to see if there are any more changes to their surroundings.
Roll an Arcana check with advantage.
17.
Farah is the first to notice it. Far in the distance on the horizon, there is a wavering, accompanied by a very, very faint green shimmer. Ribbons of light dance along the icy ground, creating an aurora of color that seems to gather to a single point some several thousand feet away. The shape begins to coalesce into something more corporeal.
Farah silently gets the attention of her party members and points to the green light.
Beautiful. But is that a ghost?
To answer Poog's question, everyone's weapons alight, including his necklace.
Okay. They're dangerous, right? What do we do, Farah?
Not all ghosts are bad, but as you guys said, Eidolons like to be left alone. We say we wait until morning and go with the plan of finding these runes a new home.
That sounds like a good plan. While we wait, I'll just sketch this phenomenon.
Are all the runes the same?
They're slightly different, but the gist is the same.
Cool beans.
Farah, I know that you really could use this money, but I feel bad for it.
For the Eidolon?
Yeah, for asking it to move. I wouldn't want to move, especially if I was here first.
I'd love to keep the Eidolon where it is, but there's no more nature around here. They've destroyed it all.
Well, I've seen plenty of really terrible wildfires in my time, and nature always seems to grow back from that.
So if we just clear out this rubble of a condo and recreational resort, nature will heal itself?
I've watched whole forests grow back from just little acorns. And let's be honest, who's gonna stop us, Derek?
I mean, yeah, the money would be nice, but...
While carrying the stone up here, I guess I had some time to think. And I was just thinking about how, even if we try to come up with this peaceful solution, and the Eidolon adopts its new home, and the construction goes through as planned, what if they expand? What if they decide that they don't want 20 condominiums, but they want 50? They want 100?
Farah stares blankly at the middle distance, thinking about how much money was offered, but sighs.
Yeah, you're right.
If it's any consolation, I can tell Freedom about this, and maybe there's some leftover treasure in Gorgonthicon's big vault.
Maybe don't tell Freedom about my crippling debt, but, just ask him for more stuff without the context.
Yeah, they seem to be really on more of a barter system. They got lots of gold just laying around.
And Freedom did say that they owe us.
All right. Let's burn it down.
Burn it down? Oh, yeah. Let's burn it down.
Hira high-fives Timpani.
Our next target isn't a ghost. It's a condo.
Poogs is immediately holding 2 lit torches.
Going full goblin, huh?
Old habits die hard. And this feels like it's for a good cause.
Farah sheepishly looks at her team, takes out Dr. Fitzbaggle's lava barf, and downs it.
The red and black liquid disappears down Farah's gullet. Farah, make a Constitution saving throw.
5.
Farah immediately begins uncontrollably vomiting magma.
Farah moves forward, aiming for the foundations of the condo.
As Farah sprints forward, vomiting magma over all of the condominiums that are half constructed, Farah, roll a Constitution saving throw again.
21.
After letting out the first wave of it, Farah clenches down, stifling the magma vomit, and it settles into a golden, glowing power that sits in your mouth, neck, chest, and stomach.
Super cool, Farah!
Farah, you notice that you feel something akin to a light heartburn. It is uncomfortable, but you take no damage.
Farah grimaces and throws a begrudging thumbs up back at Frog.
Farah, for the next hour, you have 8 more uses of lava barf.
Farah stumbles over to the next set of condo foundation and lets out another wave of barf.
And another massive section of construction goes up in flames. Only a handful of unfinished condominiums are left.
Farah throws up another weak thumbs up to the team and moves to the last bit of condo foundation.
As Farah finishes barfing over every part of this development site, the magma causing all of the wood to catch, the stone and snow to melt, and the air to reek of sulfur for a moment, everything settles. The development site thoroughly destroyed, leaving behind a volcanic layer of rock. The green phenomenon in the distance begins to coalesce faster now, and you begin to see the shape of an enormous, four-legged creature, easily 30 feet tall, begin to step out of mist. An enormous, fiery antlered elk with eyes lit up, hooves decorated with dangerous-looking spikes, and an aura of wavering spectral energy, blasts out of nothingness and gallops towards the development site.
Oh gosh, it's coming right at us. What do we do?
Everybody just hold your ground and don't look threatening.
Everybody make an animal handling check.
10.
16.
16.
Natural 1.
Poogs rolls a dirty 20. This spectral elk thunders into the center of the development, staring around, seemingly confused. It looks to the Reslayer's take. It paws the ground nervously, snow sifting out of the way, melting as its eyes glow with an even greater and brighter fire. It lowers its antlers as if it is ready to charge. Poogs steps to the front of the group.
It's okay, don't move. Nobody run. If we run, it'll chase us. It's okay, we're not here to hurt you.
The elk does not acquiesce, but holds its charge for a moment.
Taking her climbing chalk from her belt, Hera carefully tries to recreate the rune of home on the black lava rock.
Hera, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
22.
The elk lifts its head, sees the druidic rune that Hera has written on the black lava rock. Before your very eyes, the antlers disappear from this creature. It begins to shrink slightly to a much smaller but still massive height of 15 feet tall. It looks at you curiously, cocking its head to the side, gazing at the stones piled in the center of the development site. It takes one curious step towards Hera, but then freezes nervously.
Hera reveals her own horns and carefully puts up her hands.
The elk takes several more steps towards Hera, periodically stopping to look at her curiously, as eventually it gets within 5 feet of her, towering over her, and leans down to sniff. Shakes its head as if smelling something pungent, and then leans down to touch you with its nose. Hera is suddenly glowing in green light, the same color as the elk. Hera, all of your tattoos also begin to glow. After a moment, Hera's tattoos stop glowing, and you notice that they are just a bit fainter now.
Hera, do you think it's safe to approach, or you got this?
I think it's okay. Just be slow, and it's best not to approach from the back. Make sure you stay on her side where she can see you at all times.
Poog slowly moves forward.
Timpani, don't do any more gross animals. They won't like that.
Timpani walks up nice and easy with his hands out from the left flank of the elk.
Frog follows behind Timpani, crouching just slightly, so she's a little bit less tall and intimidating.
Farah slips next to Poogs.
The elk stares tranquilly at the approaching Reslayer's take. It moves to each of them to sniff them, spending a little bit of time at each of their spectral weapons, recoiling a bit each time. It then backs up away from you and moves around the development site, inspecting the work that you have done. The elk leans its head down towards a collection of this lava rock and touches a hoof to it. It begins to glow and crackle with green energy and softens into soil. And sprouting up from the soil is the tiniest beginnings of a sapling, an evergreen tree beginning to sprout where one of those condominiums had once been under construction.
Wow. Good work, everyone.
Frog, please sketch this.
I have been this whole time.
Frog's 2 extra metal arms have ripped holes through the flannel jacket she wears and sketch in her notebook carefully.
Farah Roll a perception check.
21.
You hear a voice yelling to you in the distance.
He's a-coming! He's a-coming, Vera!
Farah, you see far in the distance, in the ethereal plane, Fitzwaggle reveals himself to you, riding a penny farthing through the snow, desperately trying to get your attention.
Vera! Vera!
Farah nods, letting Fitzwaggle know she sees him. Look alive, Hellwell's close by.
All of a sudden, everything lights up white above you. An enormous collection of energy blossoms out of nowhere and begins to fall over the horizon line. You all find yourselves in a suddenly forming, bright white spectral dome. The elk looks up shocked, immediately growing to massive proportions, its antlers expanding outward. It bellows, and as its bleeding ends, the snow beneath it is disturbed. And 10 massive marionette tendrils lash around it and pull it to the ground.
As Farah takes out her crossbow, she imbues her energy into it. It sheds a bright light, and she takes 3 necrotic damage.
Farah is brought down to 57 points of health.
Farah aims it at one of the tendrils, holding the elk, and shoots twice.
Roll your attacks.
10, dirty 20.
2 hits, roll damage.
18 magical piercing damage, 8 radiant damage.
For 26 points of damage. One of the 10 massively thick tendrils retreats suddenly as it sustains 2 major wounds from the spectral bolts. There are now 9 vines lashing the Elk Eidolon to the ground.
Heeding Farah's warning and seeing her new friend in danger, Hera quickly scans for the best place to strike.
Roll an insight check.
16.
The vines move and writhe in a manner that makes it difficult for Hera to determine how best to strike them.
Shaking her head angrily, she strikes forward anyway, her spectral blade booming with sonic energy.
Roll your attack.
12.
Hit, roll damage. Hera, you may add your sneak attack as the Elk Eidolon struggles against its restraints. In this moment, your ally.
28 piercing damage, 9 thunder.
With a blasting of sound, another of the vines is severed, leaving only 8 lashing down the Elk Eidolon.
Timpani, feeling the tension in the air and seeing the dome lower, puts one big meaty hand on Farah's shoulder with a swath of bark in the palm, casting barkskin.
Farah's armor class becomes 16 as bark begins to sprout over her armor.
Farah takes aim at another one of the vines and shoots. 13.
Hit, roll damage.
9 magical piercing damage, 2 radiant damage.
The vine targeted by Farah twitches but remains around the Eidolon.
She shoots again. 24.
Roll damage.
6 magical piercing damage, 3 radiant damage.
And the vine is severed in half, leaving only 7 lashing down the Eidolon.
Seeing the successful hits from Hera and Farah, Frog is inspired. She rushes forward towards one of the tendrils and strikes at with her fists.
Roll attacks.
Nat 20, 24.
1 hit, 1 crit. Roll damage.
24 magical bludgeoning damage.
One of the vines, crushed at the root, disappears in a puff of smoke. 6 vines remaining.
Channeling her ki, Frog targets another tendril and strikes out twice more. 12, 14.
2 more hits. Roll damage.
15 magical bludgeoning damage.
The vine Frog is targeting is punished, but remains around the Eidolon.
That's quite enough.
And now for a brief intermission.
Underwear drawers are like the Wild West of wardrobes. There's no rhyme or reason to them. Anything goes. You got pairs from 3 birthdays and 2 Christmases ago, pairs from 5 different brands with 5 different fits. When you open that drawer every morning, you have no idea what to expect.
Now that I've felt the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies, my other pairs have got to go, because MeUndies is all I reach for. I'm hooked, and honestly, I just feel off if I try to wear anything else.
My wife and I got matching sets of the coziest underwear you can imagine. So now we're always matching, even if no one can tell. Plus, they have whale sharks on them. Who says underwear can't be fun?
And MeUndies isn't just about underwear. Explore the Lounge collection, featuring joggers, hoodies, onesies, and more. I'm leaning into a PJ exclusive lifestyle, and I'm loving it.
MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. It's breathable, stretchy, and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Plus, they come in sizes XS to 4XL, guaranteeing a flattering cut for everybody.
And you know what Nick and I care about the most? They use sustainably sourced materials and work with partners that care for their workers.
And folks, as if it didn't get any better than that, if you ain't happy with your first pair, it's on them.
Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping on orders of $75 or more at MeUndies.com/RST. Enter promo code RST. That's MeUndies.com/RST, code RST for 20% off. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in.
All in all, anglers, are you ready to land the big one? Put your skills to the test with Fishing Clash, the premier mobile fishing game that turns every cast into a high-stakes challenge. Compete in real-time duels or global tournaments at iconic locations from Alaska to the Coral Sea. As the official sponsor of Major League Fishing in 2025, we bring you the thrill of professional fishing competitions. Download Fishing Clash now and use promo code FISH25 to claim your $20 welcome bonus. Are you ready to prove you're the best? Join the excitement and make every cast count.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like our favorite wizardy cereal, Magic Spoon, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, brilliant marketing, but an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify, the home of the #1 checkout on the planet, with its secret weapon, Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going cha-ching.
So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between.
The secret is out. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify.
Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Magic Spoon uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/reslayer, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/reslayer to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/RESLAYER. Now back to the show. Suddenly phasing into the material plane amidst black shining spores is Hellwell. He looks different. Hellwell stands 8.5 feet tall, misshapen, covered in mushrooms. Oddly, his muscles bulge from underneath his robe, and he smiles with a row of bear-like teeth.
Thank you for doing the finding for me. I'll take it from here.
Hera, Timpani, and Frog make a wisdom saving throw.
10. 18.
16.
Hera, Timpani, and Frog suddenly freeze, magically paralyzed, as the spell Hold Person locks them in place.
Look at you all. Spectral defenders now, are we? Finding ourselves. Adorable. As it happens, I have been out in the wide world finding myself as well.
As he maintains concentration on the paralyzing magic, the ghostly lantern, with a brass exterior and a glowing green core, swings ominously from his hand.
My second quarry. I must tell you, the strength an Eidolon imparts upon one, it is indescribable.
Poogs takes out a sling from his bag, puts a rock in it, winds it up, and throws it at Hellwell. Let them go! Poogs rolls a 25 to hit. The stone thunks into Hellwell's head, dealing 9 points of damage. But the green lantern stays lit, Hellwell's concentration not shaken.
Oh, Poogs, you've always been useless. Now you are nothing more than a flea to me.
Hera, at the end of your turn, make a wisdom saving throw.
4.
Hera remains paralyzed. Timpani, a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 20.
Timpani breaks free of the magic, no longer paralyzed.
You oaf.
You look gross. And nasty and stuff.
Putredius and I have formed an allyship. This is what real power looks like.
Farah steps forward, angling herself so she avoids the elk and aims for Hellwell.
As for you, Farah, I have something special planned for
Hellwell fails the dexterity saving throw.
8 fire damage, 13 bludgeoning damage.
For 21 total damage. Hellwell stumbles back, covered in magma. Farah, you hear Fitzwaggle's disembodied voice in your ear.
Hot diggity down! It works!
The lantern flickers and the paralysis spell drops. Hellwell casts one hand out to Farah.
Stop!
And a marionette blasts out of the ground and attempts to pull her down. Farah, make an athletics or an acrobatics check.
13.
Failure. You are grappled and restrained, brought down to the ground.
Hellwell, you leave these magical creatures alone!
Frog punches out with one fist against the weakened tendril.
Roll your attack.
14.
Hit. Roll damage.
9 magical bludgeoning damage.
Frog crushes another vine, leaving only 5 lashing the Eidolon to the ground. It struggles, but is unable to free itself.
Frog strikes out at the next tendril. 13.
Hit. Roll damage.
8 bludgeoning damage. Focusing her mind, Frog readies 2 more fist attacks. 12, 24.
2 more hits.
21 magical bludgeoning damage.
Another vine is blasted away, leaving only 4.
And with her last 2 strikes, Frog learns more of this creature.
Analyzing.
The marionette strings are immune to necrotic, poison, and psychic damage, and resistant to cold damage. The marionette tendrils are also immune to almost every condition, save for being grappled or restrained. 8 motes of light float around the Eidolon.
You all never cease to infuriate me, but I am better equipped this time.
Hellwell lashes to Frog, pulls back a fist, and a spectral bear paw forms around his arm as he thunders it down towards Frog. Frog, you take 16 magical bludgeoning damage as he punches you across the face. You are brought down to 44 points of health. And then, with the same hand, reaching to his belt, he pulls out a dagger with a black hilt wrapped in thorns and slashes it across your chest. Frog takes 10 magical piercing damage and 2 poison damage halved to 1. She is brought down to 33 points of health. Frog, make a Constitution saving throw.
17.
A poisonous paralytic attempts to enter your system, but you shirk it, resisting the paralyzing effect.
Enough of that.
I will say when there has been enough.
Pooks has readied yet another sling. Yeah! Connecting and dealing Hellwell 5 more points of damage. Hellwell turns to Poogs, lifts the lantern, and there is a long, low tone of a bell. Poogs takes 12 points of necrotic damage, bringing him to 9 points of health.
Hera strikes out at one of the few remaining tendrils, holding the Eidolon in place.
Roll your attack.
19.
Hit. Roll damage.
17 piercing damage, 14 thunder damage.
A tendril is obliterated, leaving 3 remaining.
Hera swishes her elven cloak around her, attempting to hide behind the Eidolon's massive form.
Roll a stealth check.
25.
Hera disappears from sight.
Foolish to help it. It is already mine.
Hellwell lifts a hand over the restrained Eidolon, and another 2 marionettes lash over it. There are now 5 locking it down.
Timpani sprints over to Farah, wrapped up in the vine, throws a hand down into his pocket, and pulls out a long daisy chain, tying it around Farah's arm and casting freedom of movement at 4th level.
Farah finds herself able to effortlessly leave the spectral tendril's grasp.
Great barfin', Farah.
Farah nods in appreciation towards Timpani, then angles herself towards Hellwell, avoiding Frog.
Hellwell is ready this time and casts a reactionary absorb elements to soak up some of the fire damage. And this time, seeing it coming, succeeds the dexterity saving throw. Farah, roll damage.
15 bludgeoning damage, 12 fire damage.
This is reduced to 7 bludgeoning damage and 3 fire damage, for a total of 10.
You are a revolting creature. Allow me to close your mouth permanently.
He lifts the lantern, that bell tone rings again. Farah, make a wisdom saving throw.
19.
Failure. Farah, you take 37 points of necrotic damage, but because of your Rite of the Dawn, it is halved to 18 points of necrotic damage. Farah is brought to 44 points of health. The temporary hit points from Hellwell's mother's necklace erased.
You've been to my home. Did you see what I did in the basement? What I created? Perhaps when this is all over, I shall further my experiments.
Your experimenting days are over. And that's a lot coming from me. I love experiments.
Frog reaches out with all 4 of her arms, trying to grab the lantern from his hand.
Roll an athletics check.
22.
Frog, you are able to grab the lantern. Hellwell does not lose his grip on it, though.
How dare you!
Frog tries to pull it from his grasp.
Roll another athletics check.
Nat 1.
Frog, as you try to pull it from Hellwell's grasp, you gaze into the open glass of the lantern, and there is a familiar face within.
Feel my blight.
Frog, make a Constitution saving throw.
13.
The Timber Blight's energy flows out of the lantern into Frog. Frog, you take 39 points of necrotic damage. Frog's eyes go dim, and she drops unconscious, the lantern swinging back into Hellwell's possession.
Not just a mere construct, after all. Now the rest of you, stop!
Timpani and Poogs will make wisdom saving throws as Hellwell attempts to paralyze them. He is unaware of Hera's location, and Farah is immune to the effect thanks to Timpani's freedom of movement spell.
17.
Poogs also rolls a 17. Poogs and Timpani freeze with magical paralysis. Farah, though you are not paralyzed, the bark skin spell ends, the wood falling off of your armor. The freedom of movement spell is unaffected by this. Poogs still struggles against his paralysis.
That's better.
Like a ghost, Hera weaves in and out of her party members, whispering to Farah as she goes, I think we need the Eidolon's help. I'll try to buy you time. Quickening a spell, she slinks up to Hellwell. Placing one nail on the lantern, she casts Distort Value. She creates the illusion of the lantern cracking, denting, and tries to make it look as though the glass is failing.
Oh, a cute parlor trick.
Hellwell rolls a 30 to see through the illusion. Hellwell stares at Hera, having revealed herself in her camouflaged cloak.
Hera shrugs. Well, you can't blame me for trying, and stabs him.
Roll your attack.
12.
Hellwell moves to the side, frighteningly quickly, parrying by slapping Hera's wrist. Timpani, make a wisdom saving throw.
13.
Timpani remains paralyzed. Hellwell rears his hand back, the spectral bear paw forming once again, also wreathed in fire from the elements absorbed from Farah's magma breath. Hellwell goes to punch Hera right in the gut, but winds up too slow, and it is a glancing blow. Hera takes 7 points of bludgeoning damage and a single point of fire damage, halved to 0 points of fire damage because of her natural fire resistance.
Using her reaction, she says, Pathetic, my turn, and casts Hellish Rebuke.
Hellwell succeeds the dexterity saving throw to avoid the brunt of the fire damage.
22.
Halved to 11.
You can't burn me.
Hellwell, not looking at Farah, fails the dexterity saving throw.
9 bludgeoning damage, 10 fire damage.
For 19 total damage.
Get him! Get him, Farah!
Despite being once again covered in magma, there is a magical blast as the magma is flecked off of Hellwell, and he maintains concentration on paralyzing Poogs and Timpani. Frog, make a death saving throw.
2.
Frog, your metal exterior grows colder and colder as you lie in the melted snow. And Hellwell lifts a hand to the sky. 2 more marionettes burst out of the ground and wrap the Eidolon up further. There are now 7, keeping it pinned. Hellwell looks to Hera and continues a physical assault. The bear paw once again forming around his arm, and he goes to swipe at Hera's face.
Farah concentrates her energy towards Hellwell. A black veil stands between him and Hera. She takes 4 necrotic damage.
Farah is brought to 40 points of health. The fist looks like it is right on target with Hera's cheekbone, about to shatter her jaw, and all of a sudden, Hellwell rears back as a strange black veil blocks his vision, and he whiffs. He flips around the dagger enclosed in his hand and tries to stab at Hera with it. And misses again, unable to see.
What is this? Blood magic?
Yeah.
Fine then. Protect the strong. I'll simply prioritize the weak.
Hellwell turns a hand to point towards Poogs, and Poogs is not there, having rolled a natural 20 on his wisdom saving throw to unparalyze himself. He dives for the lantern. He rolls a dirty 20 to grab onto the lantern. Hellwell is unable to stop him from grasping it.
What? Get off, you puny moron!
And Poogs action surges, attempting to peel the lantern out of Hellwell's hands. And just barely is not able to get it free.
Still weak.
2 more marionette tendrils burst out of the ground, wrapping the Eidolon with 9.
Using her bonus action, Hera attempts to dive between Hellwell's feet to rapidly conceal herself again, taking advantage of the distraction created by Poogs.
Roll a stealth check.
29.
And Hera loses the attention of Hellwell.
Hera, noticing that Hellwell uses his hands to cast spells, sneaks behind him, reaching for the manacles on her belt. She attempts to chain his hands together.
Hera, make a sleight of hand check with advantage.
23.
One of the manacles locks around Hellwell's wrist, and though Hellwell notices you, you may attempt to restrain the other hand with the manacle.
16.
Hellwell rolls a 21 to resist the second manacle, pulling away from Hera.
Metal restraints? That's what we've resorted to?
Hellwell throws the lantern into Hera's face, the bell clanging loud in the open tundra. Make a wisdom saving throw, Hera.
15.
Failure. Hera takes 34 points of necrotic damage. Hera is brought to 11 points of health. Timpani, make a wisdom saving throw.
12.
Timpani cannot move. Hellwell goes to knock Hera into the dirt with another bear paw, and she takes 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Hera ducks and dives out of the way.
Making it a glancing blow and halving the damage to 5. She is brought to 6 points of health. The dagger flies out of Hellwell's hands and shoots toward Farah. The knife is thrown high, and Farah is able to duck under it.
Farah takes a moment during all of Hellwell's monologuing to stare at the lantern, trying to recall anything from her studies to see if damaging it may help the Eidolon and the restraints.
Roll an Arcana check with advantage.
18.
You are not sure about the details, but you do know that if the lantern is sufficiently damaged, it will cease to function in the way that Hellwell intends to use it, to trap spiritual energy.
Not wanting to leave Gert stuck in his pocket dimension, Farah decides to continue what she's doing.
He succeeds the saving throw and casts Absorb Elements.
17 bludgeoning damage, 13 fire damage.
reduced to 8 bludgeoning damage and 3 fire damage for a total of 11. Poogs avoids this damage by hiding behind Hellwell, using him as cover. Despite Hellwell being ready for the breath, he is distracted sufficiently to drop his concentration on Timpani's paralysis.
Oh, great barfin'.
Frog, make another death saving throw.
6.
A second failed death saving throw for Frog. Devexian's face swarms in front of yours for a moment.
Put together the final pieces to make you whole. Maybe we can find that lines to truly make more than find me.
Hellwell moves away from Hera, attempting to reposition in front of the elk, as 2 more marionettes swarm over it, totaling 11 now.
It's ready. It's ready now.
He looks at Poogs.
You poor, stupid little thing. You know nothing of pain.
And Hellwell casts Power Word Pain on Poogs. He drops to the snow. And Hellwell moves away to the other side of the Eidolon. Hera, you may make an opportunity attack.
28.
Hit, roll damage.
14.
Hellwell is bloodied by this strike. He looks down for a moment, clearly tired.
Too late, I'm afraid.
Hellwell uses all 3 legendary action points to hold the lantern aloft. It glows ferociously, and a rotted, disgusting laugh pervades. The Eidolon is consumed by a glowing green light that seems to suck it inward, the marionettes moving the Eidolon against its will closer and closer to the opening. The Eidolon disappears. The lantern smokes. Hellwell grows another 3 feet tall, his bones cracking as his body expands, and spectral antlers form on his head.
And now, the Re-Slayer's take dies.
The Re-Slayer's Take is a Metapigeon production in partnership with and distributed by Critical Role Productions, developed in association with Hero Club. Game mastered and produced by George Primavera and Nick Williams. Featuring Nick Williams as Timpani Guff, George Primavera as Poogs, Jasmine Bhullar as Hera Agniheart, Jasmine Chiong as Farah, and Caroline Lux as Frog. Also featuring Matthew Mercer as Devexian. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
That's so good. Oh man. Okay, now all you gotta do is hold that for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
I'll
As
give you a
long as
count.
you can.
As long as you can. If you run out of breath, you run out of breath.
Good.
So good, dude. I think we got it.
I'll tell you,
keeping a
it's
laugh
never
every
not
time.
funny.
It's
really
really
good every time.
For me, it's the visual.
It's really the visual,
Like,
just like this like sweet little old now.
I'm not
Yeah, we won't let you.
I'll go under the table.
It's harder when I can't see you. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Because I don't know when it's coming, so then it just suddenly happens.